The discussion at the olive press. James Zebedee realized that he had lost track of his brother John and also of Simon Peter, so he now joined the others around the olive press to discuss what should be done in light of their master's arrest. After a brief discussion among themselves, Simon, the Zealot, climbed onto the stone wall of the olive press and made a passionate plea for loyalty to the master and the cause of the kingdom, urging his fellow apostles and the other disciples to quickly follow the band and work to free Jesus. Most of the group would have been inclined to follow his aggressive leadership, but he had barely finished speaking when Nathaniel climbed onto the wall beside him and warned everyone that Jesus had been preparing them for this terrible moment for days, and that just a few hours earlier, Jesus had instructed them not to endanger their lives, as they would need to go out into the world to preach the good news of the gospel of the kingdom of heaven. Nathaniel's plea was supported when James Zebedee told how they had charged forward with drawn swords after Peter to rescue the master, but that Jesus had stepped between them at the critical moment and commanded them to sheath their swords. Then the apostle Thomas spoke, pointing out that they could do nothing to save their master since he refused to allow his friends to defend him, and since he continued to refrain from using his divine powers to thwart the plans of his human enemies. Finally, they decided to disperse, each on their own, agreeing that David Zebedee would remain in the camp as the contact person. By 2:30 that morning, the camp was deserted, with only David remaining with a few couriers, as the other couriers had been sent out to gather information about where Jesus had been taken and what would happen to him. 5 of the apostles, Nathaniel, Matthew, Philip, and the twin brothers, found shelter near Bethany. Thomas, Andrew, James, and Simon the Zealot hid in the city. Shortly after dawn, Simon Peter, utterly disillusioned, stumbled into the camp at Gethsemane. He was a picture of deep despair. David sent him under the escort of a courier to the house of Nicodemus in Jerusalem, where he joined his brother Andrew. Until the end of the crucifixion, John Zebedee remained close to Jesus, as he had instructed him. Shortly after dawn, and just after Peter had been sent on his way to join his brother, Judas, the brother of Jesus, arrived at the camp. Nearly out of breath, he had outrun the other family members of Jesus, but he had to learn that his brother Jesus had already been taken into custody. David Zebedee arranged for Jesus' family to be sheltered in nearby Bethany, where they experienced anxious hours.